Oh yes, you're welcome back. This time around, the thing that is going on in Nigeria, the fight between the U.S. government and the Nigerian government is now getting out of hand. Now it is now the U.S. lawyer. He has now called on Donald Trump for him to send his troop to Nigeria to challenge, to face this evil that is happening everywhere in the country. And then the government of Nigeria, they are not even doing anything. And the man that is saying all those things, you know him, everybody knows him. His name is Moore. This time he have now come out, start saying a lot of things concerning the evil that is happening in this country. In fact, don't skip any part of it. Try to watch to the end so that you will understand everything that is happening, and he speak concerning how Nigerian will fight against the country that make a coup. So how can the government rise up and send their troop to stop a coup in a country, but in their own country where there is bandit, Boko Haram, terrorists, and rest of a lot of things that is going on, but they cannot stop it in their own country. But a coup happens in a certain country, they now went and stopped those coup in the name of they are fighting against against evil. But the main evil that is happening in their own country, they are not stopping it. Now he has now called on Donald Trump and other world power to send their troop to Nigeria for them to stop this evil happening in Nigeria. In fact, as you're about to watch, like, subscribe, and share it for everyone to see things going on in this country called Nigeria.
So finally, we've received a news that this US Congressman, Rep. Moore, has sent a message to Donald Trump asking him to take military action against the Nigerian state. Not only that, according to Rep. Moore, he went further to say that he is doing this because he has seen that the Nigerian state are not willing to end insecurity in Nigeria. And after reading this news, you see, when I tell you guys that a whole lot of things are going on in Nigeria, some of you don't understand. Some of you don't understand. A US congressman has come out to tell Donald Trump to come on, take military action against Nigeria because he has seen that the Nigerian government are not willing to stop insecurity. And he gave instances, so I'm going to read the news for you now so that you will see and maybe understand a little of what I'm telling you of the things going on in Nigeria, because a lot of things are going on. You see all this one we are shouting, insecurity, bad economy, this one. These people in power know actually what they are doing. They know what they are doing. So please, I want to beg you to stay with me in this video. I'm going to read it exactly as he said it. Then after that, I will tell you something that will shock you. Please, I beg you to stay with me. Now, if you go further to this news, it says, let me zoom it. US congressman says Nigeria acted swiftly on Benin Republic coup, but ignores Christian killings at home. Of course, I'm very sure most of you will remember just a couple of months ago when there was an attempted military coup in Benin Republic. You know, that time or that very day, just few minutes after we had that news, you know, we also got an information that Nigeria has sent soldiers, helicopters to go there to help their military to make sure that that coup doesn't happen. Now, this US congressman is saying that, oh, Nigeria was very fast, you know, to act upon that event, but they are not that fast to protect their Christians or Christians in their homeland. What a sad news. As you can see, this news was posted on the 7th day of May 2026. So let's read down and see other things he said. Please, I beg you to stay with me. Now, if you go down, you will see it says, Moore has condemned the Nigerian government over the recent killings in Plateau State, accusing authorities of failing to protect Christian communities despite repeated warnings of attacks. He is blaming the Nigerian government. Moore, who spoke via his X handle, compared Nigeria's swift intervention in neighboring Benin Republic during an attempted coup to the government's silence amid deadly violence against Christians in Nigeria's Middle Belt. So Repulimor is still saying it that Nigeria was very fast to go and help, stop the military coup that wanted to happen in Benin Republic, but they are not that swift again, to stop the Christian killings in Nigeria. Now, we went further to say, according to the American lawmaker, the Nigerian government demonstrated its capacity to act decisively when it moved to help suppress the coup attempt in Benin, but has allegedly failed to deploy the same urgency to stop recurring attacks in Plateau State. They were so quick to send soldiers, but they are not so quick to also help stop the killings happening in Nigeria, according to Repulimor. When I visited Nigeria, the government responded swiftly to quell a coup in Benin. More wrote, Nigerians' willingness to step in to stop a violent attack in another country, while they stand by as their own Christian citizens are brutalized, makes these absolute horrific scenes unfolding in Plateau State all the more unconscionable. So, More is saying that, they could act swiftly to help another country, but when it comes to their own country, they are not doing anything. It doesn't make it reasonable, does it? It doesn't, absolutely. Now, More went further to say, the congressman alleged that Christians who gather for a mass burial of victims killed in an early attack were themselves targeted and murdered by what he described as radical Islamic terrorists. Of course, I'm very sure that most of you had that news that, people who gathered to bury the people that were killed by terrorists. So the family members gathered to bury them. Upon that burial, that very day, that very moment, terrorists came again to kill those, burying those that were killed. If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, then you are not in your right senses. He further accused Nigerian authorities of ignoring intelligence and early warnings ahead of the attacks. Did you hear that? He accused Nigerian authorities of ignoring intelligence and early warnings ahead of the attacks. The Nigerian government could root out the terrorists and stop the martyrdom of its own citizens. But despite receiving early warnings of impending attacks, they are nowhere to be found, as Christians are murdered for their faith, like lambs led to the slaughter, he stated. So it's just unfortunate, according to Repulimor, that Christians are really going through hard times in Nigeria. And of course, that is true, because we can see it on a daily basis. We hear, we get informations of killings, everything going on in Nigeria. More called on the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump to take forceful action in response to the killings in Nigeria's Middle Belt region. So Repulimor is calling on U.S. to take military action. Look at this, he says, I am grateful the Trump administration specifically identified protecting Christians in Nigeria in the administration's new counterterrorism strategy, he said. Now, I am asking the Trump administration to take forceful action to defend our innocent brothers and sisters in Christ in the Middle Belt of Nigeria, the epicenter of an ongoing Christian genocide. So, Repulimor has said that he's calling on Trump. In fact, he said, I am asking the Trump administration to take, this military action, forceful action, according to him. So, that is what he said. Now, let's hear this. It went further to say, some reporters previously reported that terrorists on Wednesday reportedly invaded a community in Plateau State, disrupting the mass burial of 7 members of a family who were killed in a brutal night attack in the Baki Ladi area near Jos. So, of course, we have told you that story. Boko Haram attacked this community near Jos, and they killed 7 persons, and the family members came together to bury those 7 persons. Upon there, Boko Haram came again to kill those that are burying those they killed. The attack reportedly threw the entire community into panic as mourners who had gathered to bury the victims were forced to flee for safety amid sustained gunfire and advancing armed men. Of course, they ran away. Eyewitness and social media personality Massacre Usman, who was present at the scene, provided real-time updates on his Facebook account, describing the situation as chaotic and life-threatening. Of course, somebody was there that day. This man, Usman, he was there. He was one of the persons that gathered to bury, their loved ones. And suddenly, these terrorists came and started firing at them. Look at this. He wrote, "This will be the permanent home of 7 members of a family murdered last night by terrorists near Jos, Nigeria. However, the solemn moment quickly descended into chaos shortly after he shared a video showing suspected terrorists advancing towards the burial ground. The video captured terrified residents scrambling for safety as gunshots echoed across the area." So as they gather to do the normal, mass burial as they used to do almost on daily basis in the north, there and there, terrorists came again, firing at them. Now, on the last part, look at this. It says, in the footage, voices could be heard urging people to take cover as the situation deteriorated rapidly, with mourners abandoning the graveside in panic. So everybody ran away. Everybody ran away. Residents were seen running into nearby bushes and scattered directions as the sound of gunfire intensified. In a follow-up video, Usman gave a chilling account of the unfolding violence, saying, "We just escaped from massive gunfire. It's massive. It's really, really massive." So that you have an idea of what he's talking about, that it was massive. These people came, prepared, shooting. It's coming from behind us. They are shooting, coming from the southern part of this community, located in the farm district of Baki Ladi. Okay, 7 people were killed here last night, and now there is incoming fire. A mass of terrorists advancing. A mass of terrorists advancing. That is, there are many, coming towards them. And we can see so many of them camping ahead of us. Looks like there is not going to be any escape. We are just going to have to try and get out of here. So that was the report that Usman gave, the person that was present at that burial ground in Jos. And so this is what we see. And now, Moore is calling on Donald Trump to take military action against Nigeria. I ask you watching me now, what do you make of this? At this point in Nigeria, what do you think that we are going to do? Because it seems that is beyond us. Not it seems. Obviously, it is beyond us. It seems our security personnel are not doing anything. The report we are giving now is something that happened on Thursday. Today is Friday. Today is 8th. Yesterday was 7th. So it was something that happened yesterday. And those that were killed, those 7 persons that were killed on Wednesday night. And yesterday, just for their families to come and bury them. Terrorists advanced, coming with gunfire again. What are we going to do? Today, being the 8th day of May, if I tell you the news we've seen, go to Sahara Reporters, you see news. Go to social media, you see news. Go to Twitter, you see news of people that have been unalive today in Nigeria. Is that how we will continue to live? Is that how we will continue to sustain? For how long? Is it when we have all died that we talk of what to do? And so I'm asking you watching me now, what do you think Nigerians will do at this time? What do you think? Yes, Moore has sent a message to Donald Trump to help Christians. But who is sure whether if Trump is coming or not? Who is sure? Are we sure if he's coming or not? And if he doesn't come, what do you think can do? Now, I'm going to allow you to listen to what happened at the US Congress a couple of months ago. Then you understand of what we are talking about. You will also ask yourself, why the sudden silence if they can speak all this against Nigeria? How come that suddenly they kept silent? Please listen to them. Then you drop your comment in the comment section. What you think, please.
Thank you, Chairman Smith, and I'm going to deviate a little bit from my written remarks, much to the chagrin of my staff, but I feel it needs to be addressed right from the very beginning. The simple fact is radicalized Islamists are running amok in Nigeria. They're terrorizing moderate Muslims, they're terrorizing Christians, and they are targeting Christians. That cannot be disputed. And while we see many people trying to emphasize the outside issues, lifestyle, who owns land, who is the herder, et cetera, they want to emphasize that those are the key drivers, and that they're the key drivers of everything but religion. And I and many others, and I'm not just talking about those of us on this committee or Americans, I'm talking about religious leaders in Nigeria, believe religion is one of, if not the main driver of targeted violence right now. We just heard from Bishop Anagbe. A week and a half ago, I talked to President Magaji. President Magaji is the president of my own, he's the Nigerian president of my own faith sect, the Christian Reformed Church. We have 400,000, mostly from a Dutch background, 400,000 participants and members here in North America between the United States and Canada. We have 500,000 in Nigeria. We are essentially an African church that happens to be headquartered in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I want to ask this question, because this seems to be sort of part of the central argument. Well, this isn't necessary. Well, certainly the Trump administration believed it was necessary the first go around. And I want to ask this question. Did things improve when the Biden administration removed the CPC?
Thank you for your question, Representative Pike.
And just for the record, I'm seeing a number of heads shaking no in the right behind you. And these are people that may have a little better information than what the American media is, and they're all nodding their head right now. So go ahead.
Thank you for your question, Representative Huizenga. As you mentioned, violence has increased over the last several years. It was unfortunate that the Biden administration chose to remove Nigeria as a CPC in 2021 and 2022 and 2023, and President Trump's bold action to redesignate them is a wake-up call to the Nigerian government. And as you mentioned, extremist religious ideology is of course a primary motivator of these attacks. The attackers themselves use religious language. They target churches. They target Christians on holidays.
Yeah, and absolutely. It was Christmas Eve of 2023 when 200 people were murdered, killed in a church. Now, I want to ask this. So one question was, did things improve? I think the answer is no on that. Here's the question. Proportionally, do we see Christians killing Muslims in Christian areas of Nigeria the way that we are seeing radicalized Islamists killing Christians in Muslim areas of Nigeria?
What I can tell you, Representative Huizenga, is that Christians are disproportionately targeted based on their population.
Exactly. And by the way, for those that you can't pick up with the microphones, there's audible yeses behind you. Again, the people that are watching who are nodding their heads. Why? Because they have lived this. Their families have lived this. I went to school with kids from Nigeria. I've got neighbors who've been missionaries there, who have family there, who have friends there, who know this is going on. Yet we've got not just the mass media, we got people within Congress denying that this is happening, or certainly de-emphasizing it. It ought to be outrageous that it is Christians, moderate Muslims, anyone being terrorized by these radicalized Islamists in Nigeria, and we've got the Tinubu government sitting back and not doing enough. And I recently just was interviewed by Nigerian television, Arise TV, and that was really their question. Is the Tinubu government doing enough? And I had to answer, no, they are not. And I do not understand how a delegation can come here to the United States and downplay and come up with all of these other excuses as to why this is allowed to happen. It should be rejected and should be called out for what it is. And I've got a couple of other questions that my time has expired, that I'm going to have to go and ask for them in written responses. But one of them I need to highlight is in Benue State, there's 1.4 million people who are considered internally displaced. Understanding that the administration has supported refugee assistance in dozens of other countries since taking office, what humanitarian assistance support are you providing or plan to provide to the IDPs in Benue and Taraba states, where many of those Christian communities reside? And I'll have to take the answer in writing. And Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, just to show the breadth of this, I want to submit for the record remarks from the chairman of the Financial Services Committee, French Hill from Arkansas, who also serves on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the Intel Committee. And I serve as vice chair of the Committee of Financial Services. This is where many of those sanctions originate and the enforcement. And I will say this, sanctions are only as good as your willingness to enforce them. And as the chairman has pointed out, there are ways to get out of those sanctions. And that's through correct your behavior. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit the letter. Thank you. And with that, I yield back.
What must happen? Nigeria has long been strangled by radical Islamists, predatory extraction, globalist meddling, and institutional corruption. Working with the Nigerian government to end the genocide is like working with the Third Reich to end the Holocaust. They smile and spin as they wait for Trump to leave office. Since CPC designation, killing and impunity have only gotten worse. Sanctions will not work. Visa bans will not work. They're ideologues, and they'll just pivot east. Intentional denial of recognition and aid to displaced people, intentional denial of recognition and aid in this circumstance meets the legal standard of genocide. This is provable. Indict the Tinubu administration. Arrest them. They're guilty of genocide. And it's provable. Conduct a valid census and evidentiary briefing of the displaced. They are eyewitnesses to genocide and they need help. Investigate the Sultan of Sokoto as a terror sponsor. Circumstantial evidence demands it. We know where the militant camps are. Wipe them out. Bring the enablers to justice. Demand the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and other prisoners of conscience. Offer asylum protection to them and others threatened by this regime. Ensure a free election in 2027. It can be done for the cost of a Tomahawk missile volley. Tinubu was declared the winner with less than 9 million votes in a nation of 230 million. A free election changes everything. Let the people vote on a new constitution and self-determination. Like so many other British colonial contraptions designed to fail, separation is likely inevitable, and it is just. The time is now. Nigeria is at a crossroads. It will become either a peaceful, prosperous ally or a massive launchpad for global jihad. There is no going back to the status quo. If the world turns away after this unprecedented scrutiny, the backlash will be bloody and absolute. The window is closing. We must call this what it is and intervene now, or the current genocide will grow and draw more innocent blood, not just there, but here in the United States. Thank you.
Wow. I gotta know you. Yeah. Mike, thank you. Wow.
Oh, yes. This is a very powerful speech coming from the US Congress. Starting from the beginning to the end. You all have seen everything the way it is happening. So it is no longer a news. It is no longer a new news. It is something that is going on every day by day. And the government of the country, they are not even doing enough to stop it. This time around, all of them, they are so focused on their political posts. Coming 2027, that is what they're all about. So whoever that can stop them, any person not to win 2027, that person will go down by all means. And if you can talk against it, or if you like, you can buy a lot of people in the country and you allow them to be there as as a president or as a senator or as a governor 2027, that means you are free to do whatever you want to do, which is very, very shameful to the country. That is why you see a lot of things going on every day, and the government is not doing anything to stop it. Imagine a country that's tried to counter a coup, the Benin Republic. Within 24 hours, they stop everything. They stop everything in that country. But it is a shame in Nigeria where everything is happening day by day. This issue of radical Islam, or issue of banditry, Boko Haram, ISWAP, kidnapping, and a lot of them buying people everywhere, but they are not doing anything. They are not doing enough. They are not doing enough to stop them. But if any little thing happen in any foreign country, you will see them rising up. That is how Vice President the Kashim Shetima went to UN last year. He started talking about the Palestinians, that how Nigerian have the power, the strength to destroy any type of terrorism or any type of country that rise up to challenge them. But this terrorist has been going on for decades, for many years now. They have not even been able to stop them or to challenge them, because they know who those people are and they know why they are leaving them. Because where it used to baffle everybody is the issue of repentant or no repentant bandits, Boko Haram, ISWAP. The people that you will see them cameraing themselves in video in everywhere, destroying people's life. And whenever the government catch them, whenever the soldier catch them, instead of to send them to hellfire, then the next thing they will tell you that they are rehabilitating them back to the society. What about the people that they have already taken their life, destroyed their life, their livelihood, and they make life miserable to them? And the end, you will now be seeing the same people coming back to the society and keep destroying people's life more and more again. And at the end, the government will tell you that they are fighting against terrorism. Is it not a shame? Is it not a sign to tell you that the government, they are aware of everything going on? In fact, we will say we don't see and we don't know the next step Donald Trump is going to take, because if you listen to the White House, the issue of designating the country as a particular concern, if it has yielded any good results, or if the result is being taught in this way, like as nothing is been happening, that is the question they are asking. But the question remains that Nigerian, even though the issue of designating Nigeria as a particular concern, it has not yet any fruit we are seeing. It has not. And the issue of in fact, the government of Nigeria, they are not even shaking, no matter whatever you do. The only thing we see that can shake them, it is when you remove power from them. It's the only thing that can shake them. Apart from it, nothing. People, their citizen can buy everywhere every day without them speaking or without them doing anything, because as long as they are still sitting on their post, on their position, meaning life is nothing to them. In fact, only thing we are asking God is for them to protect us, because the pastors and the people that used to preach every day, the only thing that will tell you is that you should go to mountain, you should pray, you should do that. But they need to do something. They need to fight and they need to defend themselves. They need to train people and they tell people how to start defending themselves against this evil that is going on every day. Not only to talk without doing something. In fact, I would like you to recommend down below, like, subscribe, and share it for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria.